Here's a lying down stretch series that I like to do at the end of my mat work. Bring both knees into your chest and give them a nice hug to stretch your low back. You might want to have a little rock from side to side, if the back feels okay with that. Now release one leg down to the mat, keeping a hold on the other, and slowly slide it away. So you're easing the front of the hip open, the back of the knee down to the mat, and the heel away towards the wall opposite, while keeping this one hugged in. Just breathe gently while you ease into the stretch. Now you can either leave that one out long or bend it back up to support, whichever feels better for you. When you take a hold behind the back of the thigh on this leg and start trying to straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. So now we've got the heel of one leg pushing away towards the wall in front and the other trying to stretch up towards the ceiling to stretch the hamstring. And you can just keep holding that stretch and breathing into it. Or if you like to use a bit of support, this is where the Pilates room is handy. You can pop it onto the foot and just support that stretch there. And you might be able to gain a little length from the hamstrings as you breathe into the stretch. Be careful not to put the ring at the front of the foot and pull on the ankle like this, because it might give you too much of a stretch on the sciatic nerve, could aggravate it. Just leave the foot relaxed at the ankle. Good, now bring that other foot in, release that stretch, hook your foot and ankle across that knee, let the knee drop out nice and wide, and then from here we're going to hop both feet up so you can pass your hands through and try and hold behind the back of that thigh to support this glute stretch. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your head and neck relaxed, and just use the hands to draw the thigh slightly closer to your chest, stretching into the top glute. Again, breathe gently into the stretch. And release them down. Good. So uncrossing, this time bringing the other knee into the chest for a hug, sliding the other away, stretching and opening into that hip flexor, pushing the heel away in the opposite direction to where you're hugging the knee into your chest. Good, leaving that leg out straight or bending it up for support, and then hold behind the back of this thigh and start stretching the hamstring out. It's a good idea to try and maintain your neutral spine position here, because if you just tip back into your low back, you're using the mobility from your low back instead of actually gaining length from your hamstring here. Using the support of the ring if you want to. There we go. Just hold it in one hand so the other can rest slightly back on the mat and you know you're not tensing through the shoulders or the neck. Just supporting rather than pulling on the leg. And remembering to breathe steadily. And release, sliding that leg back in so that you can cross them over, let the knee drop out to the side nice and wide into this four-shaped stretch. Again, check your neutral spine, just make sure you've got a little space behind your low back before you hop both legs up and try and maintain that little space behind there. Reach through, hugging the leg in, breathing into it. Well done, release down. And when you uncross the legs, bring the feet Ankles and knees together again. Check your neutral spine position. Take your arms out to the side at shoulder height. Shoulders away from the ears. Length through the back of the neck. Have a breathe in. And then out breath the knees over to one side. You can look towards the opposite hand. Try and keep the shoulder blade back and down on the mat. You've got that full spine twist. Like you're wringing it out like a funnel. Take some steady breaths. And when you do come back, use your out breath. So out breath back to the centre for a breath in. And then out breath over to the other side. Again, looking towards your opposite hand, but keeping that shoulder back and down. And when you're ready, out breath the knees back. Good. So we'll have a turn over onto our side. For a little quad stretch here. Just see if you can reach back and take a hold of the front of the ankle. Bring the knee back down so that it's in line. And then all you're going to do is try and open up the front of that hip. So careful not to overarch your low back. It's an opening of the front of the hip, stretching into the front of the thigh, keeping the knee down at hip height. And release. Good, having a turn onto your other side. Again, just bring that foot back to catch. Take a hold of the ankle joint, keep the knee down at hip height, and then slide the whole leg back to open the front of the hip. Feeling the stretch down the front of your thigh. And hold to breathe. So if you've been doing some squats, lunges, other quad strengthening exercises, and it's really important to get them stretched out, as well as the hip flexors, which have a tendency to get tight. And release. Good. As an alternative, you could do a stretch series in sitting, so check out the other videos for that as an option.